All right, so I just gave myself a little silk press. And so for the agenda for today is I need to clean because my kitchen is a hot mess and so is my living room. We are going to work on this dining room nook. I put together that and this part of the nook yesterday. I'm gonna talk about my home updates and show you around. I'm gonna do some work and sort of tell you what I'm working on. Let's see. And then I have a little dinner later. So now the dishwasher is running and I'm going to strain this DIY cleaner that I made, was it 2 weeks ago? I have a video on it that I will link, but I'm gonna strain this DIY cleaner and put it in this plastic container. I still have cleaner in this one that's a Grove cleaner, so I'm just gonna wait to use this, but I'm gonna separate the vinegar solution for now. So I'm just going to pop that off. It smells so good. So basically you take some of this vinegar, you do like half parts vinegar, half part water. You can also add essential oils if you want to as well. But then you have your own natural cleaner that you can make at home. So these food scraps, I'm gonna go ahead and place it in my mill. So I will show you what that is. Basically my mill is technically it's not called a composter because you can put non-compostable items in it, because they have a program where you can like ship your food scraps back to them and they will like feed them to chickens, or you can use it as compost in your garden if you want, but obviously it can only be compostable items. So this is the mill. And then basically every night it will run, or I can schedule it on my phone for when I want it to run. And it just like cycles the food. And then it turns into something like this. Oops. Looks like this. You can see the brown. And then obviously what's fresh is what's from today. But it really grinds it up. And I've literally have had this since I moved in, so it's been over a month, and those are food scraps from a month. So it's just really convenient that I don't have to worry about, you know, food scraps. So I'll put a link to this in the description box as well if you're interested, but it's definitely very handy. Okay, so now I'm going to make some cashew milk. Again, excuse the dishwasher running, but you know, this is a realistic day in life. So I have my blender and I'm gonna grab some cashews. I'm always dropping things. And then I have some maple syrup, some vanilla extract, and I'm gonna also put a little cinnamon in it and a pinch of salt. So I take 1 cup of cashews. Time to get some more cashews. A lot of people say to soak it before blending it. Honestly, I usually don't do that, or maybe I'll like soak it for like an hour or something. We'll decide what I want to do in a minute, but this is such a great way to make your own milk, and it's gonna save you a lot of money. And then you want about 4 cups of water. I decided that I'm not soaking it. I'm just gonna blend it a little bit longer, but I usually do it this way anyway, and I've never had a problem. And then I just sort of guesstimate everything. I'm just gonna put a pinch of salt and a dash of cinnamon. And then I'm gonna put some maple syrup in. And then of course some vanilla extract. And then we're just gonna blend it for about 2 minutes. Okay, let's check to see if I like it or not, or if it needs to be blended a bit more. It's only me drinking the milk, so. Yeah, it tastes really good. I don't know why people say you have to soak it. Like, honestly, if you just blend it for a little bit, it's fine. So I'm gonna go ahead and pour it into my glass jar. The milk is going to be a bit warm, so I would obviously put it in the fridge if you want some cold milk, but you should keep it in the fridge anyway. And this should last you, or just gonna stay good for about 4 to 5 days in the fridge, but if you smell it, you can see if it's gone bad, but you're definitely gonna go through this in 4 days, trust me. So many milks have like so many different like ingredients and fillers, and you don't know what half the stuff is. So I like that this is so easy to do and I know exactly what's in it. Okay, so I decided that I'm gonna go with the smoothie, like a nice heavy smoothie, and maybe I'll have a little snack later. I don't want to be too full for dinner, but normally I would have like a proper lunch and everything, but since dinner's so early, I'm gonna do like a little cashew, banana, maybe some kale with some mint, and some, I have this chocolate hazelnut almond butter. So I'm gonna make that. One of my goals this year is to create a little garden. I have like 2 little pots outside of like, one's rosemary and one's mint, and they're like the little ones you get from the store. I do want to repot it and learn how to do all that, because I think all the food that, a lot of the produce that we have, like we can actually grow from home, whether you live in a small apartment or a big house. But I really want to grow, especially like herbs, because I feel like these go bad so easily when you buy them from the store versus like when you just pick them fresh outside. So I'm gonna be in our little farm girl era and trying to grow as much food as possible. So I'm gonna rinse this mint off, and then I'm gonna put a little cashew milk in the blender. And I put the cashew milk pretty much in all my smoothies too. I'm gonna add some mint. And then what I do for frozen bananas, typically I'll like cut them up and freeze them in an effort to reduce waste, and because you know frozen stuff comes in plastic, which I still have plastic. So I'm gonna put some banana in there, get a little bit of chopped kale. I'm gonna add some of this butter. It is hazelnut and almond butter. I can get it out the thing. And then I'm gonna put a little bit of flaxseed. I got this at a zero waste store and I refilled it. So I'm just gonna put a little flaxseed in this plant-based collagen. Oral Organics is a brand that I've been using for a very long time. I really like their protein powder. I started using this one from Whole Foods and I'm not a fan of it. It just has this weird taste, but the one from Oral Organics is really, really good. This is good too, but I'm really trying to make sure for this smoothie. And then we are going to head into the office. And I'm gonna give you a rundown on the work that I am working on today, and just give you sort of an idea of what it looks like to be a full-time content creator, or at least for me, what it looks like some days. All right, so let's head to the office. So a lot of what I do is check my email. Email is pretty much everything for me. If I'm not filming, I'm planning content. If I'm not planning content, I'm editing content. If I'm not editing content, I'm managing emails. So there's definitely a lot of computer work involved. It's not always exciting, and sometimes it's really just being at the computer all day. So one of the things I'm working on is I really want to grow on all platforms, but especially YouTube and TikTok. Instagram, I feel like I've just given up on, even though that's where I make most of my money, so I can't completely give up on Instagram. But I've noticed that, like, whether I'm posting 3 times a week or 5 times a week on Instagram, or even 2 times a week, it's just like not making that big of a difference. So I thought it'd be cool to do like a 30-day challenge for myself. Every day for 30 days, I post a short form video, and I would do that on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube, and see what that does. Because even YouTube, there are so many people that like just have a following just because they have shorts and no long form. I do think it's important to have long form for what I'm trying to do, but I was like, like maybe there is something to that. And I know it's all about consistency, so I'm curious as to what would happen. Short form content on YouTube, for example, I wonder if that translates to long form videos on YouTube, because I feel like sometimes the followers don't necessarily transfer over, or like they're not the same type of person, but who knows, we'll see what happens. But we're just trying to challenge ourselves, because for me too, it's like, it's not that I need like 1 million subscribers or 1 million followers on Instagram. It's just, I would love to get like to 100K on every platform, because too, for me, like the more followers you have, the more money you can charge, and the less work I, in the long run, will have to do. So like if I have double the following, that means I'm getting paid double for the same amount of work. That's not to say that this is not a lot of work, because it takes years to, I mean, it depends on the person, but for most people, it took years to build up their platform, and now they're able to make really good money from it. So for me, I was doing this, let's see, I went full-time in 2020, and I started like really posting on Instagram in maybe like 2017. So as you can see, it takes a very long time to really make this a business, but I'm so grateful, and I wouldn't trade it for anything. Like, I would rather be working for myself till 11 p.m. at night than working for someone else. And it's not to say that there's anything wrong with a 9 to 5. Like, there's certain people who that's what they need, that's the structure they need, that's the lifestyle they want, and I think that's great for them. But I know for me, I don't think I could ever have like a normal 9 to 5. So that's why I'm always, you know, trying to think for the future, like, okay, how do I want to take my business? Like, I don't want to just like have a YouTube channel. Like, I want to get into digital products and physical products. And if there are any things you would want to see from me, or you think could be a cool product, digital product or whatever, let me know in the comments. I am always here for suggestions, or if you have any suggestions for videos or things that you want to know about me and my journey. I need to probably do a full video on like how I got started, how I'm able to do this as a full-time job. So I think a lot of times when it comes to money, like, it's not a very transparent thing. People don't like to talk about it, but I do, because for me, it's helping everyone else, especially people that look like me. Like, I'm all about people, you know, being able to set themselves up for success and build generational wealth. Like, that's really important to me. I don't believe in having excess or living a ridiculous lifestyle, which I guess that can look like something, like, it depends on who you're asking in terms of what that might look like. But for me, I want to live a life of ease. I want to have nice things. I want to travel. I want to live a certain lifestyle. So I'm just working hard to maintain what I already have and continue to grow it. I think for me, I sort of listed out what my ideal dream life looks like. And if you watch a previous video, I'll link it. I have a Notion template where I put my dream life budget. So a lot of times people are like, oh, I need $1 million a year. Oh, like, whatever the case may be, but they're just making up numbers in their head. But if you actually sit down and write out, okay, like, future kid tuition is gonna cost this. Future trips ideally would cost this. A car payment would cost this. And once you have an idea of your dream life, then you know you're actually working towards, because I feel like so many people get caught up in, they make good money, they start making 6 figures, now they're like, I want to make 7 figures and 8 figures, and then they keep going. But it's like, at what point is it enough? And I think once you determine what you really need and also want is fine, that you just have a clearer picture and you know sort of when to stop. Because for me, I'm just throwing out random numbers, but I rather make $500,000 a year, but be able to be with my family and be able to have freedom and live the life that I want, versus making 10 million a year where I'm miserable, working all the time, no work-life balance. I don't see my friends. Like, to me, that 10 million isn't worth it. So I think it's really important to sit down and ask yourself how much is enough. Go in the Notion template in the description. But if you have any questions about how I make money as an influencer, please let me know. So for today, I am first starting off with emails. So I need to sign this contract. I'm doing a partnership with Cotopaxi, which I'm really excited about, and that is going to be a year-long partnership, and they are paying me monthly, like X amount of deliverables for each quarter. But I'm gonna go ahead and sign that. So typically the way that a partnership works is they reach out to you, or you can reach out to them. I usually have brands reach out to me. I'm very blessed and very grateful, but I think I've done a very good job at branding myself. I think I understand marketing, I understand sort of the business aspect of this, whereas I feel like most creators are just creators, whereas I feel like, you know, we're a business girly, we understand, we're smart, we went to a good school, so we know how to finesse and brand ourselves. So this partnership I'm excited about. There is going to be one free trip involved because they're also doing a partnership with Intrepid, if you're familiar with them. They are basically a travel agency, but they make sure that they're doing it, I guess, like ethically, and they're being mindful of the community. I'll link them below as well if you're ever interested in taking a trip with them. But I'm really excited about that. I wonder what trips they'll let me go on, because they literally have trips everywhere, Africa, Antarctica. But like, obviously the trips vary in prices, so I wonder what they would let me do, because I would love to go to Antarctica. It's like a $20,000 trip, which I would not be paying for on my own anytime in the near future. So I wonder if I could do that. I'm not really a cold person, or I'm not really a type of person that likes the cold, but I feel like so many of the most beautiful places are cold, and like Antarctica, like come on now, like penguins, like polar bears, it'd be such a great experience. But we'll see what this looks like. But I'm gonna go ahead and open up the contract. I typically, it depends on the brand deal. So I work with a manager, and I also work with like other agencies, not exclusively, which means that every brand deal that comes through my inbox, they don't have to manage. I kind of pick and choose, which I prefer it that way, because sometimes when there are bigger brand deals that I know I can negotiate on my own, and I rather just keep that commission, that 20%, it's worth it to me. But it just depends on the situation. Like if I'm bombarded with a whole bunch of emails and a bunch of partnerships, sometimes it is worth giving up that 20%. Or if you can tell a brand's gonna be a headache, sometimes it's, again, worth it to pass that off and have someone else deal with that. But for this one, for example, I negotiated and managed myself. And when it comes to contracts, again, pretty good about that as well. So many people will DM me that I, follow, or like we're Facebook friends or we're Instagram friends, and will ask me questions, and I love helping people. It just makes me happy for people to get their bag. Because there is a lot of money in being a content creator, and I don't think people necessarily understand it or realize it. And I think it's also changed the way that I think about money. I feel like when you're an entrepreneur, like there is no cap to how much you can make, but if you're working a 9 to 5, there is a cap. But even if you're working a 9 to 5, you can have a side hustle and different things that you do, whether it's investments. But for me, I'm about getting that back and helping people grow as well. So that's also why I want to have a YouTube channel. I want to help people just live their best life, whether it's just like sustainability practices and reducing waste, or being more mindful in their daily life, or, helping them make more money and make wise financial decisions. So right now I'm going to open up this contract. I just use DocuHub. Typically when you're like looking at contracts, I always read the whole thing, but the section on usage is what I'm very big on, and make sure I double, triple, quadruple read. I don't believe in ever giving your content away in perpetuity. And if you don't know what perpetuity means, it basically means forever. So anytime you see a brand that says worldwide, royalty-free, perpetuity, blah, 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 if you're an influencer, don't do it, don't sign it. Because then you're signing your face away forever, and they can continue to make money off your face forever. Like imagine, let's say they paid you, I don't know, like I'm making up a number, $500 for a reel. And now they own that reel. And now 5 years from now, when let's say you have 500,000 followers and maybe you're charging 20,000 for a reel, they're getting a $20,000 reel for $500. So it's really important to be specific on the usage and make sure you're charging for usage, and make sure there's like an end date for the usage. The brand can always come back to you and purchase additional usage, but make sure they do not own your content. You need to own your content. You need to own your face. And to make sure you own this face, okay? Because this is gonna be a big money maker one day. It's already making a little bit of money, but it's gonna be an even bigger money maker. So gotta make sure you're looking out for your future self. So I'm gonna go ahead and sign this contract. Okay, so the partnership is now signed. I keep track of everything in Notion for my partnerships. So I'll put like when, I'll put like brands I need to email or I've already emailed, brands to follow up with, talking to, a negotiation, contract signed. So I'm gonna move this one to contract signed. And yeah, that is typically how partnership goes. And then they'll probably circle back with me to get sort of concepts. So I usually will send a concept. It depends on the brand. Some brands like want you to like have a full-on mood board, and some brands just like need a couple sentences. Usually I just send like a couple sentences and maybe like an example photo or video of like what I would try to recreate. I'm their only travel ambassador for the year. I have to incorporate travel into my content for them, but I'm really excited because it gives me a reason to travel. But it doesn't have to be international. I'm also really trying to stay put a little bit this year. A, because I really want to save, and B, because I finally have a place that I'm like invested in designing and building. Even though I don't own it, I'm just renting. This place like definitely feels like a home, and it's slowly getting there. It's getting more cozy, it's getting more decorated, and I can't wait till it's fully done. But it's definitely come a long way since my first home diaries video where it was completely empty and I was just moving in. One of the other things that I'm working on is redoing my website. Right now it's not live because we're working on it. I hired someone from Upwork to work on it, and right now I just have to email her back, connect the Flowdesk email newsletter situation to the website. But if you want to see sort of like a preview of the homepage, let me see if I can bring it up. Let's see. But yeah, hiring someone overseas is definitely the way to go, because when you do it in the US, it's like $100 an hour to like have someone build your website. But having a website really just adds to like making you seem professional, even if the website isn't perfect. Like you can literally get just like a basic template on Squarespace if you want. But what I did is I have mine on Bluehost. You want to like be able to host your own website, especially if you want to have a blog one day. So mine is on Bluehost, and I'm gonna go ahead and open that. Where is it? I've actually had a decent amount of brands email me through my website because there's like a contact form. Yeah, it just makes you more professional. So would highly recommend if you have your own business of sorts. So it definitely needs some work, and she's not done yet, but this is, oh, let me change the battery. Okay, all right. Basically, this is what I'm going for. I'm gonna probably change the photo, but just have her laying it out right now. And then I have all the little slider of the different things I've been featured in. And then there's like where you can grab your like sustainable living guide, a little about me, YouTube. I'm gonna have her change out this font. I don't like this cursive font. I do want a cursive font, but we're gonna have her change that out. And then this is the blog. Some of the text needs to be edited, and then I'm gonna have like a little area where you can like shop my favorite products, that links out to the products that I really love. This is just the homepage so far. I'm gonna work on a lot of the other pages as well, but I just really wanted to revamp it. So this is where that's at. And then in terms of website design, I don't know, I think I have a pretty good design eye. So what I did is basically I went to Canva and I like screenshotted parts of like other people's websites that I saw that I really liked, and I like put it together and made it my own. And that's what she designed it off of. And as you can see, like it turned out pretty good. It's still not completely finished yet, but I like the elements of like the sliding banner and things like that. So this is the first page that I'm working on, but then I also want to revamp the partnerships page and the about me page. All right, so let's head to the dining room. And I feel like this doesn't zoom out enough. Okay, let's head to the dining room, and we got our water. Typically what I do when I'm doing things like this is I will listen to French. So I started listening to this podcast on Duolingo. And where's my speaker? Ignore my messy apartment. It's so bad. Where did I put the speaker? Oh, I think I left it in the kitchen. But typically I will listen to French. If you don't know, I've been learning French. And I take lessons maybe once or twice a week with a private tutor, which sounds expensive, but it is only, each lesson is 50 minutes and it's only $15 a lesson. If you're ever interested in learning a language, it actually doesn't have to be expensive. The only downside is that she's French, but she lives in Spain. So that time difference, it's kind of hard because I'll sometimes have lessons at like 7 a.m., but typically it's 8 a.m. But it's hard when you're like just waking up, because I'll like wake up at 7:45 and roll out of bed and then go to my French class. It's just, sometimes your brain isn't fully awake yet. So you're like, je m'appelle, you can't français enough. So, but no, it's been good. I've been getting a bit better. I'm still too nervous to speak, but my understanding has become a lot better. Duolingo podcast. It's intermediate French, so I don't understand everything. Right now I'm learning the past tense in French. And so the stories that are told in the past tense for the most part. So it's just really helpful to hear it, because French is not just like I went. It's like it depends on if the action is in motion or not, and there's all these different like scenarios of like this is when you use this word and that word, and it's very confusing. But I'm hoping through practice I will get better. I really want to be multilingual. My goal is English, obviously, Spanish, French, German. German I already speak a little bit, like probably I used to be very good. I would say like high intermediate level. Now I understand at an intermediate level, but speaking is like, like I can get around, and maybe if I was there for a couple of weeks, I definitely could pick it back up. But my German, used to be really great. So we're just trying to be a multilingual, international girly, okay? Because I can't be out here traveling the world just speaking English, and German is useless, honestly, because all Germans speak English. So we're working on our French. So I'm gonna find a episode on Duolingo that is French, and we are going to get started with building this dining nook. So let me show you where it's at currently. So right now, as you can see, let me bring this out. Please ignore the mess. But so it's a small dining room, and I kept going back and forth on if I wanted to have like a round dining table with 4 chairs or a bench and chairs. But what I kept running into is that like if I had a chair here and then I had a chair here, there's like no room to really like walk into the kitchen. So I figured I would have a round table where that tape is right there. And then I would have 2 benches, and you can like easily just like sit and make this a bench. I built this one yesterday. And this is actually a IKEA bench from the kids section. I'll put this in the description box below if you're interested. I can't wait to do a full reveal. But this is a bench in the kids section. One was, I believe, $100. So if I have 2, that's $200. But all the benches I kept seeing on Facebook Marketplace and online were just so expensive. It's like $800-900 for custom benches. But what I'm gonna do is just put the other bench here, because I originally bought 3, but I don't need 3. So I'm gonna put the other one here that I'm gonna build right now. And then there's gonna be this space right here. So I'm gonna have to figure out how to like put some wood or something. So it extends the bench. And then I'm gonna do some like custom made cushions that I'm gonna DIY myself. I don't know how to do it, but you know, it's all about learning and learning how to do new things. And then I made a little drink section area because there's not a lot of storage here. Like the kitchen is very small, and also the storage situation just isn't convenient either. Like I have to like use a ladder to like get up to where the plates and stuff are. So I've been trying to come up with storage ideas. So I got these. I'm putting like food and tea and things like that there, and just pantry staples. And then I have this little area right here. I'm probably gonna put some shelving here, and also look at this cool little light I got at the thrift store for $10. It like is USB charge. I thought it was so cute. Thrift stores has like such great things, but that's that. But yeah, right now I'm just gonna build the second drawer. Cool about the drawer is that I can also use it as storage. So I have even additional storage, because as you can see, like it's just not a big kitchen, and it's just not convenient to really store things. Like it's all so like slender, and it's just hard to really put things in there. I did put these shelves up, so I have some like mason jars there, but yeah, it's all coming together slowly but surely. I would show you the living room, but it's currently a hot mess because all the trash that was in the dining room is now in the living room. But we're gonna build this, and if you ever need some like inspo for redesigning your new place, go to Pinterest. That's how I did everything. I put everything in Canva. I'm gonna also link my home diaries video, which is my moving in video that shows you all my mood boards and how I kind of I'm bringing things to life. I just put everything in Canva, and I sort of find pieces that match it, and I really wanted to do a breakfast nook. And then I'm gonna change out this light fixture probably to be more of like a wicker sort of vibe. I'm gonna have someone do that because no one's trying to get electrocuted, but we're gonna get to building.
Je voulais défendre les idées et les valeurs, comme le respect de l'environnement et la solidarité. Je voulais changer les choses. Quand je parlais de ça, les gens me répondaient « Mais le système économique et social est comme ça. Qu'est-ce que tu veux ?»
One evening, Benji and Matt just to check it out. But what they would find there would revolutionize their lives.
Marie et moi, on est partis découvrir cette communauté.
Trying to do these. I think we're gonna take a break from trying to screw these on because it's not working right now. Je suis salée.
Crystal Boucher was born with a rare optical condition that he couldn't see the world around him the way that other people could. But he couldn't see anything in front of him. And yet, as a child, that Watch the chicken footage simmer and perfect. Oh, puto. Those right at the heart of the city, get removed.
I am just moving the mill in the kitchen because I don't want it in the nook anymore. I hope you enjoyed this day in the life video. It's definitely not the most exciting all the time, but this is sort of what my day can look like on average, and I am so happy that all of you are here and that you made it to this part of the video. I'm gonna start getting ready for dinner pretty soon, but I really appreciate all of you and all of you watching, and please leave me a comment down below and let me know what more you want to see from me. Okay, I'm already late, but this is what I am wearing to dinner. I like to keep it simple, neutral. All right, I gotta go.